coming into the room. And this is Transformative Leadership for Youth. And today we have some special guests with me. You'll learn a little bit more about Joan Hernandez and Jessica Carr, who are instructors on the Transformative Leadership for Youth program. And we also have in our presence 3 of the youth who were in the program, which ended a couple of weeks ago. And you will learn more about them and you'll hear from them of their experience. I want to welcome also the people who are joining from Facebook and YouTube. Welcome, welcome. We're going to have some polls. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be premiering a video called Give Light. It's about it's a music video actually featuring a song called Give Light, which was actually written by the youth in the program. And we're so proud and excited to be sharing this with you today. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to start off by introducing both Joan and Jessica. And they're going to talk for a few minutes each about transformative leadership in general, and then about the Transformative Leadership for Youth program. And then we're going to have our 3 youth panelists introduce themselves. Now, one of our youth is not feeling well, and he's in the UK. So at this time of night, it's very late for him. And so he sent us a video. So we're going to be watching that. And then we're going to share with you the video, and then we're going to have time, about 50 minutes, we hope, for questions and answers. So please, if you have a question, think about it. You can jot it down actually in the Q&A box at the bottom. You can also chat in the chat box, but if you have a real question that you want our panelists to answer, please put it in the Q&A. So let me go ahead now and just say a little bit about Joan Hernandez. She is a world citizen. She was born in the US, but she spent a lot of time abroad. She speaks Spanish fluently. She went to Guatemala as a pioneer and then moved to Bolivia. And she will tell you a little bit about her work with NOR University. That's a university where this transformative leadership program was really developed and grew. And Joan will tell you about that and about how the books that the youth are studying were developed. And then we have Jessica Lani Kamal Carr. She's a photographer. She's a founder of Cultivating Capacities nonprofit. And when she first heard about this transformative leadership program, she just took it and she ran with it. She added arts to it. She did her own thing with it. And she'll tell you more about what the youth program is. And it's all based on these transformative leadership capabilities that we'll be learning some more about. Jessica is our lead on this youth program. Joan also is one of the instructors. And without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Joan to tell you about transformative leadership, what it is.
Okay, I'm going to share the screen for you, Joan. You ready? All right. And so Joan might be having some technical difficulties. I think her Wi-Fi is a little bit having some challenges. So I'm happy to step in. And if she jumps on, Joan, do you hear me? Please step in. Okay, guys. All right. So welcome, everyone. Super excited to share Transformative Leadership for Youth with you. We have, of course, our 3 dynamic youth with us, but we had an incredible session. So a little bit of just a short background on transformative leadership. So transformative leadership was developed in the 90s and basically was formulated for social and economic development projects and NOR University in 1993. And literally for decades, this material, this framework for action and personal and social transformation has been applied in education, public health, and community development and youth empowerment. And so just briefly, you can kind of get an idea that we have approximately, there's 60 projects in 40 countries that have really come out of grassroots initiative. And so it's really individuals who have found the program, who have found the curriculum and have just really applied it, taken to heart. and has applied it for the transformation for positive change in all these different areas. And briefly, so our conceptual framework, we have 6 elements of the conceptual framework. We have the service-oriented leadership, which is one element. We have our purpose, the purpose of leadership, which is the personal and social transformation. Basically, it's a dual purpose, goes hand in hand. And the fundamental moral responsibility that we have to the investigation and application of truth. Another element is the conviction of the essential nobility of human beings. So really looking at our human nature as being essentially noble. And that transcendence is another element where we are really practicing and applying our ability to connect to eternal and universal principles that are found within all cultures and civilizations. And so it's really like justice and forgiveness and compassion and love and those universal principles. And then the last element is development of capabilities, where we dedicate ourselves to developing capabilities as well as dedicating ourselves to helping other people develop their capabilities. So it's really this culture of collaboration that's being fostered. In our last session, our first pilot program, we actually focused on some of the interpersonal transformation capabilities. So there's actually 18 capabilities. So we actually worked on some of those 18. These capabilities are broken down into 4 different categories. And so we have the capabilities that contribute to personal transformation, the ones that we worked on in our last seminar, which is the capabilities that contribute to interpersonal transformation. So it's really our friendships, our relationships with each other. And then capabilities that contribute to social transformation. And then we also focused on really the 18th capability, which is integrating multiple capabilities. And we looked at the transformative family, because really that family unit is this nucleus of our society. And so that was really important. So we kind of just highlighted some of these. The ones in the middle are the ones we actually worked on in our last seminar. The part 2 seminar, so Ophelia and Keon and Olivia are going to be going into our next one. And so we're going to be working on all of the capabilities in our part 2 seminar, being the change, cultivating capabilities. How's that? Is that okay, Nikki?
Yes. And we have at least 1 or 2 of the youth from the current program that just ended are here tonight, besides the 3 that are on camera. So we really welcome you all. Thanks.
Yes, hi, Chloe. She already said hi. All right. Would you like me to go further, or anyone want to contribute any thoughts about what was already shared?
I'm just amazed that you managed to get so much into the 6 weeks. And as you see here, everybody, this is a lot of different capabilities. And so we had to focus our time, but we're moving on with some of the youth to do some more studies. So there'll be another 6-week program that's starting next week for those youth who graduated from the first program.
Absolutely. So another slide we wanted to share was really looking at what the curriculum is really founded on. And so we have Transformative Leadership, Developing the Hidden Dimension, which is really the main book. And so I highly suggest and highly emphasize the value of reading that. And then we also created a first edition of our Transformative Leadership for Youth workbook. And so we've complemented both of these with our course, and then we've also integrated, of course, with our arts, diverse arts, and so we can talk a little bit more about that. So should I continue, Nikki?
Yes, please. So now Jessica is going to talk about the youth program.
Okay. Yeah, so really tonight, we really want you guys to all get a chance to meet and talk with our youth and just listen to what their experiences are, because really that's what it's all about, the youth. So in short, the Transformative Leadership for Youth program is really, it provides a framework for social action and societal discourse. And so it really empowers young people. It actually empowers all human beings, but especially our young people, to engage in the life of society and address the challenges that we're faced literally daily. And so this does this by cultivating and nurturing a culture of cooperation, looks at fostering creativity, and that's where we have that expression through the arts. It is founded on the ethical principles and scientific evidence, and that really falls into that element of investigation and application of truth, which is truly profound and significant, especially for young people. And then this is all motivated by our service-oriented passions and the search for truth, attraction to beauty, and the thirst for knowledge. Some of the arts that we did this session, we had a graphic artist accompany the youth throughout the whole 6 weeks and develop skills. Kian is one of our youth who did that, and so he'll be sharing some work just in a few minutes. And then we did music. So Eric Harper is a Canadian musician who's phenomenal, and he actually accompanied the group of youth who dedicated themselves to music. They composed a song, which you'll be seeing tonight. And then photography, I helped the kids navigate some basic skills. We have Ophelia who's sharing her art today and her background. She just did amazing. And then, of course, multimedia arts, really watercolor, ink, pencil. And the idea was really to just really address our attraction to beauty and really express our thirst for knowledge through the arts. And of course, being of service. So I will stop sharing, and there we go. Oh, Joan, okay. You're back. Joan, what did I miss? Oh, you're muted.
She's on mute. Joan, you wanted to say it?
Jessica, actually, I was connected during all the time that you explained about the background of the program, and you explained it as well or better than I could have. So
thank you. Well, Joan, I mean, we're so fortunate, and really, a couple of years ago, I found Transformative Leadership, and it literally was a transforming experience. Immediately emailed Joan, one of the authors, and just requested training, requested support, and she has been so accommodating within the last couple of years. I can't thank you enough, Joan, for doing that, and especially creating this awesome space with our youth with us. So please share anything additional.
Okay, we're going to move on now. I'm going to just say the names of our youth panelists and ask them to say hi, and then we'll go into their introduction. So first we're going to have Kian Bahin Ain. Hi, Kian.
Hi.
And then we're going to have, next is Olivia Bell. Olivia's from Georgia. Hi, Olivia. And Kian, by the way, is from Arizona. And then we're going to have Ophelia Winslet. She's in Florida, and I think that's near to where she lives. That photograph behind her is one that she took.
Yes, it is. Hi, everyone.
And on video will be Oliver Mavadat Reese, who is in the UK. And he sent us a little video, so we'll watch his video. But first, Kian.
Okay, so do we want to ask our question? Can we share the question, Nikki?
Kian's going to just introduce himself first and talk about one thing he learned that he thinks will be useful in the future.
Got it. Thank you.
My name is Kian, and this is the first time I've been to Transformative Leadership, and I enjoyed it a lot. And I think it was really interesting because I learned different views of everyday life, like different views of leadership. We experience leadership in our life a lot. And sometimes with maybe government, it could be hard. But I enjoyed in Transformative Leadership, we learned about different types of leadership, which are more useful. So I enjoyed that.
So I have a post-it or the slide for you, Kian.
All right, thanks. So the 4 types we learned about the common types that we encounter are authoritarians, the first one, which is basically, you can pretty much imagine it from the picture. Someone's basically commanding everyone else. In the second one, people are being led by someone who is doing everything for them. So, and the third one is basically just know-it-all. The person's just basically pretending that they know it all, whether they do or not. And the third one is manipulative. So that's basically manipulating people into thinking something or doing a certain thing. And one of the common characteristics of all four of these is that no one's on the same level and there's always someone above.
Mm-hmm.
Beautifully said.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Olivia?
So, as Nikki said earlier, I'm Olivia. I'm 14 and I'm from Georgia, and I'm also a first-time participant of Transformative Leadership. And that concept of transformative leadership has kind of always been around me, but there's never been words put into it. It was just an idea or a thought that I could discuss, but never really identify fully. And so being in transformative leadership was really helpful to me because I got to put words to my thoughts, but I also got to learn new things and new perspectives from other youth and junior youth. So I was really grateful and appreciating that effect.
Thank you. Ophelia.
Hi everyone, I'm Ophelia. I'm 16 years old and I live in Florida. And the one thing that I really took out of transformative leadership was, as Olivia said, kind of putting the words to something or like an idea. And so for me, the main one was kind of going off of leadership and working in a group. And so I learned about the 3 group functions, which is like the way to achieve your goal and to work together, and their unity, progress towards the same, so everyone's got the same goal, and the capabilities of ourselves and others in the group. So, because I work a lot in different groups and teamwork, because I'm also in a lot of clubs. So this was a way for me in the future, I'll be able to use this to help the group come more together and so that we can achieve more of our goals and also just enjoy ourselves while doing it.
Fantastic. I see we have our associate director has joined us. Chitra's here. And her daughter, one of her daughters who was in the program.
Hi, everybody. So happy to see your beautiful faces.
Okay, do we want to show Oliver's video? And then I think we can do 2 of the polls next.
Sure. No problem. Okay, so Oliver couldn't be with us tonight. He actually is in England, so he's sleeping. So here is his video. And
experience.
Hold on a second.
And we're 16. Hi, I'm Oliver. I'm 16 and live in Cambridge, UK. For me, this transformative leadership course has been quite amazing, having people from America, UK, Canada, Switzerland, all in one group, a very unified group. Has been a really nice experience, and where we can have true consultation open to everyone's perspectives has been a really good example of, international cooperation. In terms of what I'll use from the course, I think this principle of service-orientated leadership is very powerful, that we should be focusing on others, developing capabilities in others, and not forcing our ideas onto them. And doing leadership in this spirit of service, I think, is very important. In terms of what I think young people could benefit from this course, I think this key principle of transcendence is very important. I think a lot of young people don't really have much meaning in their lives today, whereas transcendence, having a goal, a purpose in your life to work towards, I think would be very useful for young people today.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Oliver. So now we're going to share a poll. We talked about youth groups. Ophelia has been involved with a lot of them, and I know that there are other youth in the audience who maybe have been involved in youth groups. So I'm going to share this poll, and I'm going to ask everybody to take part in it. It asks, what is your experience, if any, with youth groups or youth clubs, including the Baha'i Inspired Junior Youth Spiritual Empowerment Program? So please click if you see the poll and tell us what your experience is, and we'll be able to tell what kind of people we have in our audience. Okay. Everyone's voting. We have 33%, 55%. Here we go. So if everyone has voted now, I think it's just 66%. How about we have a few more people voting? If you're on a phone or a tablet, you might need to maximize your Zoom screen so that you can see the poll. And if you're on Facebook or YouTube, remember, you're not going to be able to participate in the poll. Okay, dokie. So I'm going to share the results. So the majority, actually 37%, is in a youth group now. So that's wonderful. We have a lot of youth in the audience. 33% know people who are involved but have not recently been involved personally in youth programs. And then 11% recently graduated from a youth group or has a child or grandchild in a youth program. And we have 2 people who are actually facilitators or leaders for a youth group. So thank you for that. The next poll is going to test your memory about common dominant models of leadership. So this one asks, which of these are among the common dominant models of leadership relationships mentioned on a previous webinar slide? You can vote for more than one of them, anyone that you think was on the slide, please. Okay, so we have some people here showing off their memory. And we have 72% have voted so far. I think that's great. I'm going to close the polling soon. And then Jessica can tell us how right we were. Okay, 83% have voted. Great. I'll wait just 4 more seconds. All right, so here are the results.
Wow, good job, guys.
People remember the manipulative, and that's correct. Manipulative was one of the kinds, and know-it-all also was one of the kinds. Paternalistic also was one of the kinds. Now, transformative leadership, of course, is a kind of leadership, but right now it's not dominant, and we're hoping that through this program, it will become more dominant in our society today. So thank you very much for that.
Good job.
And now we're going to start asking some questions of our panelists. What I'd like to ask is, what impact did this course have on your life, on your whole life? I know that some of our panelists were really deeply impacted. So if anyone wants to share. Thank you, Ophelia.
For me, it made me more aware of my surroundings and the people I talk, and I guess even at school or at home with my family, and just like interact with. It also I became especially aware of leadership, kind of like what Kian was saying at the beginning, because in many cases I am a leader because I'm a president of a couple clubs. So I also, like, it's been a way for me to put a name to some of the ways that I have led, and like help me like become a better leader and more of a transformative leader than some of the other dominant types of leadership. And also with this class, I've become more aware of art in my surroundings because, as I think as Jessica mentioned, we had a lot of classes with graphic art, and I took an interest in photography. So that's helped me notice like the little beauties of nature. I'm also fortunate enough that I live next to the ocean. So I can go to the ocean and take some, I think it's amazing, nature. Some of the activities we have in class is you can take pictures and then post them and write a quote about them. So one of my quotes, and it was about transcendence, is this picture is a representation of transcendence, because for me, kayaking is an out-of-this-world experience. The peacefulness of paddling through nature and watching dolphins play, baby birds chirp and try to fly, and fish jumping out of the water helps me become aware of different parts of nature in our world. Kayaking is a way for me to slip out of our society filled with technology, quarantine, work, and school, and see the little beauties of nature. Yeah. So this course has definitely helped me like have a more focus in my life and just help me all around in school, leading and interacting with people.
Thank you. Anyone else want to share on that question? How did the course impact your life?
To go off what Ophelia was saying when she was talking about interacting with people, this course made me a lot more aware and conscious of the words I'm saying and maybe the effect it could give off to someone. When we're learning about cultivating affection and love in our actions and words, even through the little things, it made me a lot more aware of like, if I text this or if I say this to this person, even if I'm frustrated, what is the impact it could have on them, and how can I say something that's truthful but in the kindest way possible? Because I could say something mean and just be blunt and still say the truth, but I could say the truth in a way that is still fully the truth, but in a way that won't hurt that other person's feelings. So being conscious and always trying to give out love definitely improved for me in this course.
Wow. Great. Nice. And I know that, Olivia's family was quite involved with her. She shared her work with her family, and her family, was impacted by that. So we really appreciate Olivia's being with us on this course. We have another question here. How did the art specifically contribute to your learning, the arts that you learned?
For me, the arts was really interesting because I love art, and there's so many types of arts, and I was able to kind of discover different types of arts that maybe I had seen before, but hadn't really recognized that I could do it. We can do anything we want, but sometimes we have to learn it first. So this course is really helpful because it taught art and those types of things, and more art than I had done before.
Wow. And you made that poster, right, Kian?
Yeah.
Through justice, I am the change. That's nice.
Thank you.
And then, so Kian, are you okay to share a little bit more of your art?
Sure. Yeah.
Oh,
so,
wow.
This was a graphic art. So, like if you've seen maybe posters with computerized designs, like that's what the type it is. So we learned that in our class, and it was interesting because it was something new. And these two things, someone taught us how to do them, and they were really fun. I enjoyed them. And then below it is what the poster was based off of. So it says, I will use my justice, kindness, and assertiveness to educate, empower, and serve myself and others in our becoming leaders in social discourse and society.
Wonderful, Kian. So great.
Thank you.
I just love your bird and your tiger. They're wonderful. We have another bird we're going to show in the video. So,
Nikki, do you want to answer any of these questions in the chat now?
That's an idea. Actually, I was looking at one. We have a question from Monette Van Leef. It says, thank you for this presentation. It sounds amazing. Is the group organized roughly by age? Will there be homework between classes? And will there be a lot of reading and writing? So I don't know if Jessica wants to answer that, or if a mixture of Jessica and the youth could answer that, because they know about the homework.
Yeah, I invite the youth to share first, and then I'll share just our approach to what our capacity building methods were.
I guess I can answer the first question. So I feel like this was definitely an experiment for all of us. So at the beginning, we would separate into breakout rooms and we would mix ages. But one of the youth was wondering if we could separate into age groups. So that's what we ended up doing for most of the course. So I think it was in between 1 or 2 year difference for every group. So for example, I was in the age group for 16 to 17-year-olds. And I thought it was very nice because I think it made like a better connection with the other people I was speaking with. And so even now I keep in contact with them and I consider them my friends.
Okay, who wants to answer about homework between classes?
Well, the homework was pretty light. It was encouraged, but it was also optional, so you won't be like reprimanded if you didn't do the homework, but it really did help you build the understanding of your readings. And your readings, you don't have to go back and reread. It's not homework like if it would be in school, but it's more like, hey, here are a few check-in questions. If you want to answer and share, it would be helpful, but you don't have to. We just think it will improve. So homework isn't really a huge deal or a stressor. It shouldn't take longer than 30 minutes to 45.
And someone asked, will there be a lot of reading and writing? I know there was some reading. There wasn't a whole lot of writing, I don't think.
Yeah, so the writing, so the reading and writing was built into the seminar. Really, we're at this really unprecedented time with the coronavirus worldwide conditions unfolding literally overnight in some of our communities. And so we recognize the immediate need to create a space where kids could get online because of like those community stay home mandates and so on. So we did build in writing. We built in creative writing for change activities. We built in, we have discussion questions that we all addressed in our reading groups. And then the youth were invited to post in the forums their contributions to those answers. And so really the idea is we wanted to cultivate, first of all, a culture of knowledge is love. And so not to create an oppressive learning environment, but really that it's a loving environment and that we are quenching our thirst for knowledge. And then in that, it's really about sharing our learning, reflecting on our learning and applying our learning. And so really this was a constant culture and habit forming skills that we were practicing throughout the 6 weeks.
Okay. And there's one more question in the question and answer box. Did the arts impact the way you see your world? Does anybody want to answer that?
Great question.
I guess I can. I think I kind of talked about it earlier. For me, photography definitely opened my world up because I decided to take pictures of the sunrise, which meant I had to wake up at 6 in the morning, which for me was very painful, but it was definitely worth it. And it also gave me like a new view on just the little details. Like if I, for example, I would see like a flower or a leaf and like the way the sun is positioned. And it was just these little things that I started noticing that I wouldn't notice before. And same thing when I go out kayaking. And so I had the idea of maybe I can bring my camera with me and see if I can take some of the pictures. So it was just a way for me to like, it really opened my view on nature and all the like beautiful parts of the world that I hadn't really thought about until I realized I can capture the image of it, which I thought was really cool.
Okay, and I have another question about, or for the youth. It says, how are you applying what you have learned?
Really, for me, it's just some simple everyday tasks and being of service to my family, because we are all on quarantine, but also doing little things. Like I created kindness letters for my friends. And so that's something I don't have to go physically give to someone, but I can still show my love and affection and my appreciation for them. And that, I feel like, is a way of using an example of invisible leadership, because if you share the kindness that you can spread in the world, it will have a positive impact onto other people to have kindness also. And so just being a service and speaking your mind and love into the world.
Nice. So guys, I think this is like really homework that I like. This is the kind of homework that I'd love to do myself. Kian, did you want to add anything?
What was the question again? I'm sorry.
It says, how are you applying what you've learned?
Oh, well, I think it made me think a little bit about, like, the leadership thing was really interesting to me because I experience it, we all experience it because of how our world is today in the forms that we might or might not want to experience it in. So it was just interesting for me to look at the world that way.
I know they learned about like leading silently, something like that, leading from behind sort of thing.
Invisible leadership.
Visible leadership. Yeah.
Yep.
To me, that was a very interesting concept. I have one more question, and then I want to move into 2 more polls and then the video. So the last question is, did the course help you to better your relationships, or how did the course affect your relationships? I know most of you are like quarantined, you're at home with your families, not going to school, very tense it could be at times, but how did it really affect your relationships?
I think Ophelia touched on this earlier when she was talking about, because we were separated by our age groups, we got to connect to other people with similar ideas in our age range. So for me, I made a lot of new friends and were able to invite people to like my junior youth group or get to mail letters back and forth with people. And so it really allowed me to expand my relationships of other people understanding transformative leadership so that we could talk about how we wanted to share it. And I was really appreciative of that.
Thank you.
And I think that I'm not sure if we answered it already, but there's a question in the chat thing.
Okay. Which one?
I can read it if you want.
Sure, go ahead.
What were your methodology to ensure younger or reserved kids take part in speaking out? What was the time schedule like?
Okay, you want to answer that?
Sure. So I guess we kind of did, there was like groups based on age. So there wasn't a lot of there wasn't a huge age range. So that kind of helped with the first part. And the time schedule, so the class was every day. For the next session, it'll be, Monday, Wednesday, Friday?
Right, 3 days a week, yeah.
Yep. And it'll be for an hour. And then there's optional hangouts, just informal for the arts. And those are optional, so it's just basically 3 days a week.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
So
I was wondering,
go ahead.
Can I add on to the first part of the question? So I think, at least in my group, I think it really depended on like the people in it and how they wanted to read the sorry, I just blanked out. Read the chapter. But for us, it would the person who read would choose the next person. So at the beginning, no one knew each other. So we just kind of randomly picked a person. But so that's how we all got to know each other. And usually we were in the same breakout rooms. So I got to know about the same, it was 10 to 15 people. So you got to know each other more, and then you would just pick on whoever you wanted. So in that way, everyone got to speak and just know each other more.
Yeah, we also had several participants who actually everybody was given the option to always be invited to share, to read, to contribute, but they were also invited to turn their camera off if they felt anxious or if they felt uncomfortable. They were welcome to pass on reading. The idea was really to always create a welcoming and inviting and empowering space for everyone. And one of the challenges I think that youth face today are it could be social anxiety. And so really that idea of contributing and feeling judged or feeling like, maybe they're just not able to express themselves, we're trying to complement those powers of expression. And one of the ways we also addressed that feeling of judgment was really cultivating the culture of cooperation and identifying what a culture of competition looks like. And so we actively are taking our capacities, our talents, and sharing them in a way that we're cooperating and developing each other.
Hey, now, one of the most challenging things about this program to me was choosing which of the art breakout rooms to go into. So I have a little poll I want to launch. I'm going to launch it now. It says, if you were or if you are taking or planning to take the Transformative Leadership for Youth program and had to choose 2 art classes out of all of these, which 2 would you choose? You can choose from graphic arts, which is like computer drawing, creative writing, including poetry, photography, music, and multimedia. That's watercolor, ink, and pencil art. And please only choose 2, because remember, you can't do all of them at once. All right, we have 40% voted so far. I did a mix of music and computer graphics. And that was very good. Okay, 78%, 81%. I'm going to close in 5 seconds. 2, 1. All right, end polling, share results. Okay, so most people like music, but there are a lot of people who like the multimedia and the graphic arts, and also a 30% want creative writing, including poetry, and 43% want photography. So it looks like a nice even bunch there. Okay, and the last poll is an interesting one because it talks about the purpose of leadership. Now, out of these 6 elements of transformative leadership, which 2 would you most like to know more about? So we want to know what you're most interested in. There are 6 elements: service-oriented leadership, personal and social transformation, investigation and application of truth, essential nobility of human beings, that's my favorite, transcendence, my next favorite, and development of capabilities, yours and others. So which 2 would you most like to know more about?
You're swaying the votes.
I'm sorry.
No. Okay, let's go for it.
Only 59%, 62%. I know it's hard. Let's try and choose 2. 72%. I'll give you 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.5, 1.25. Okay. So here are the results. So top of the heap is personal and social transformation. I think that's a lot of what we did in the first session, was interpersonal relationships. And then there's development of capabilities. Great. And then next is transcendence, and then service-oriented leadership and investigation application of truth. And last but not least, essential nobility of human beings. There we go. Thank you. I would like to ask Olivia to introduce Give Light.
So basically, as we mentioned earlier, we had different creative groups, and one of them was the music group. And so Eric was a musician and producer who basically guided us through creating this song based off a quote, which was, give light to our eyes, hearing to our ears, and understanding and love to our hearts. Render our souls joyous through thy glad tidings. And basically, with that quote, we just expressed ourselves however we wanted with whatever instruments, either if it was vocals, a piano, a guitar, a ukulele. And after that, we basically created a task force to create a music video showcasing the art that the first Transformative Leadership group made. And I was the executive editor of this video. And so basically I put it together, and it showcases all of the art and participation of the musicians and students and graphic arts and the people, and just us gathering and showing our light through song. So thank you for watching.
Give light to our eyes, hearing to our ears, and understanding and love to our hearts. Give light to our eyes, hearing to our ears, and understanding and love to our hearts. Give light to our eyes, hearing to our ears, and understanding and love to our hearts. Light to our eyes, love to our hearts, through thy glad tidings. Light to our eyes, love to our hearts, through thy glad tidings. Light to our eyes, hearing to our ears, and understanding and love to our hearts. Give light to our eyes, hearing to our ears, and understanding and love to our hearts. Light to our eyes, hearing to our ears. Light to our eyes, hearing to our ears. Give light to our eyes, and hearing to our ears.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
So great. Nikki, did you cry this time?
I'm trying hard not to.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, wow. That's beautiful. Thank you all, guys. Now we have time for question and answers from the audience. We're almost right on time. We have almost 15 minutes left. And Crystal says, so wonderful. Crystal was one of our instructors, our facilitators. Stephen Scotty also is here. He was
yes,
with us.
I just heard from Stephen today, and he'll be back. So yay, he's going to come back to our seminar. So He actually is a retired engineer with NASA. And so he did a fantastic presentation for the youth on capabilities and engineering, and just absolutely astounding.
Yeah, we didn't mention the special guests really, but I think it was Olivia mentioned Eric Harper.
We had Eric Harper
music.
Yep, we had a doctor, Deborah Rana, Dr. Deborah Rana. She presented a presentation on coronavirus, and so that was absolutely fascinating. And
had a veterinarian.
Yep. We did. One of our facilitators is a veterinarian, and so she actually also did a wonderful presentation. So Dr. Nicole Weinstein, I think I pronounced her name right. And then, yeah, it was just an absolutely incredible support that we've had for our young people.
Can new students join the session that starts next week? Yes. And we have another slide at the very end we'll show you, and we can put it in the chat as well, a link where you can get the registration. Okay, so Sarush says, my son enjoyed transformative leadership. Looking forward to next week for the second part. Thanks so much to you all. What a wonderful service. Thank you. Thank you, Sarush.
Nikki, can you say a word about maybe the continuation course and then the new course?
Yes, we have a slide at the end, and we're gonna.
At the end, okay. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm ready when you're ready for that. Looks like we have one more question here.
How do you think that this program affects others? Naveed Robertson asks, how do you think that this program affects others?
So maybe the youth would like to answer that one.
As in other people that didn't participate in the program, or the people who participated in it?
I'm thinking maybe others. So how did your, how did your I guess whatever you've learned and such, how does that affect other people?
Okay. I think it would definitely help other people, just because I think every single one of us who took the program definitely took something out of it. So I guess, for example, me, there's a whole section about like talking to others and then compliments and how to like give constructive criticism. So I think now I have a younger brother, so sometimes we definitely butt heads. So I think this will definitely help me and my brother have a better relationship, so that I can give him constructive criticism, and maybe he'll do the same for me. And then also with friends at school, or just in general, I think it'll help all of us become more compassionate people, and just spread like the idea of transformative leadership to others.
Joan, did you want to share something as well? You need to unmute. Unmute.
There you go.
Hey.
Oh, since I didn't get a chance to talk at the beginning, I'm sorry I was having internet problems, but I just wanted to say that not only with this group of youth, but with people who have studied transformative leadership all over the world, it somehow has a truly transformational effect on their lives that obviously affects the lives of the people who are studying it, but it also, has an effect that it spreads out to those with whom they are in contact, their families, fellow students, if they're youth, colleagues, if they're adults who are working. And so I think it goes beyond just the transformation that the person himself or herself experiences, but also has an effect on his or her relationships with others.
Thank you, Joan. It looks like we have a couple more comments, Nikki.
Okay. Will they still be able to participate if the youth misses the first day?
Yes. So I would, if you can just email myself or Joan, just so we identify what youth it is, and so we can make sure that you will be kept in the loop. We also video record every session, and so we post those videos in our what we call the Change Agent Forum on the Moodle, the Wilmette Moodle classroom page. And so we're actually going to be spending quite a bit of time navigating that. The use of the classroom page, because it's actually exquisite in terms of a learning platform. So absolutely, we can accompany them if they missed that first day.
So I put the link to the page where they can go register. And I just wanted to note that we need to close registration on Friday or sooner if we reach our limit. So, but you can invite your friends and yeah.
So here's the slide also for information if you wanted to take a snapshot of it.
I wanted also to invite any older youth, or if you have friends who are older in the age group 18 to 30 years old, there's a course starting on June 1. It's 7 weeks. It's not a free program like this one currently is, but it's very inexpensive. It will be $20 with our discount code for June, which is Health19. And it's all about, those relationships that are, possibly budding into romance and into marriage. So that sort of thing. But also we'll be talking about healthy relationships of all kinds. And it's geared towards youth who are 18 to 30 years old. So if you have older brothers or sisters or uncles or aunts who are single, you might want to take that course. Any other questions? Yes, I see some more Q&A here. Yeah. Okay, is this also open to youth and junior youth who are not Baha'is? Definitely. Not all of our youth are Baha'is, and it really doesn't matter if you're Baha'i or not. You can enter the program.
May I comment on that? I mean, the whole program, the whole focus of transformative leadership was designed to present to audiences that you basically knew nothing, absolutely nothing about the Baha'i faith. I mean, we've given it, as Jeff explained at the beginning, to educators, to workers in public health. And so even though the concepts are aligned with the Baha'i teachings, but it's not teaching the Baha'i faith. In fact, I don't know if Ophelia would like to comment something on her experience, since she's not a Baha'i, but it's definitely open to everyone from every background, from every religion, without a religion. It's open to everybody, and all of the ideas are very accessible to everyone. But I'd like to Ophelia to share her experience, just as someone who is not a Baha'i in the course, how she felt about it.
When I joined the course, I actually had no idea about the Baha'i faith. I just saw that it was transformative leadership, and I was like, oh, that sounds cool. So it was only afterwards, like throughout the course, that I actually learned more about the faith, and I thought it was really interesting. But it does influence the course, but only in the teachings. And I thought it was really interesting, and it was really a fun experience.
Great. And one last question, is the course starting next week a second part of the last course? So actually there's 2 courses starting next week. So that's why we have to be careful we don't overdo ourselves and have too many people. So we do have a limit on the numbers. There's 2 courses running simultaneously. One for new people who are just on a level, don't have to be a Baha'i, as long as you're 11 to 17 and you want to learn, you want to serve. And the second course is like a graduate course. Remember, I said earlier that we couldn't cover all of those capabilities and everything, so we focused on some. And the group who completed this first course are invited to join that course. Only those who completed the first course will join that other course. So I have another announcement, but wait, Q&A. I think we've got all the questions and answers here. I don't know if there were any from Facebook, but I wanted to announce that next week, Tuesday, in this same Global Opportunities webinar series, we're going to have some special guests from the Children's Theater Company. And the title of this webinar is Theater as a Tool for Moral Reasoning. And this is for everybody, young and old, because the Children's Theater Company is rooted in the belief that through the magic of theater youth can become the voices of positive change and agents of healing in their communities. So tomorrow or on the weekend, you can check that out on our website. If we can bring up that last slide again, wilmetinstitute.org is our website address. And by then we will have some information on it. We just got this today, so we're going to put it up tomorrow morning. And you'll be able to register for that next week, Tuesday at 8:30. Theater as a tool for moral reasoning. It's going to be very exciting. We're going to have some interactive things going on there. So we invite you to that. Any more questions? I see one more Q&A in the box. The registration says it's closed to junior youth and only senior youth is open for registration. Okay. I hadn't checked that out. I can go on and increase the capacity for junior youth. It looks like we have mostly senior youth. So I'm going to increase that tonight. So you can try again tomorrow morning if you're a junior youth and want to apply. Thank you for that, Jason.
Yes, thank you for sharing. I did, on behalf of the Transformative Leadership team, I did want to thank Wilmette Institute for graciously allowing us to partner and use the platform, and especially to provide this awesome opportunity for the youth, basically of many different locations and under unprecedented times. So thank you so much, Wilmette.
And thank you, Jessica and Joan. And thank you, Ophelia, Olivia, and Kian. Thank you so much for being here.
Yes, we're so happy.
We missed you, Jessica and Joan.
No. Couple more days, guys. We're going back.
We'll be back next week.
Yes.
Oh, Zachary Stazuski registered. Wonderful.
And I also wanted to take this opportunity to really thank our faculty. We really, truly appreciate your selfless service of, day in and day out, you poured your hearts into this program and working so lovingly and supportively with all the youth. And thank you to our youth for being the brilliant stars that you are, making us cry like that. You just have so much to give, and we are so inspired by you. So, and then of course to our dear Wilmette Institute registrar, Nikki, who is right along there with them. Oh, and I'm so happy that I accidentally got on the panel. I thought I was just coming in as a participant, but I think it was a gift to be able to thank you all like this the way I would have wanted to. So thank you.
And please share the video. I'm going to make it public so you can find it on our YouTube channel. We're going to put it on the front of our YouTube channel. We're going to put it on our website as well, so you can share it from there tomorrow. Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, guys. Bye, youth.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.